Hey, PNW Best Life here, and today I want to talk about harvesting oysters and clams in the months of March and April on Puget Sound public beaches. Just an incredible opportunity to get some variety, in your diet, a little bit of different type of seafood. It doesn't have to always be about hooking that fish, although the tug is the drug. My wife and I, and sometimes our friends, have an annual tradition: getting our lawn chairs, getting our Coronas and limes and hot sauce and oyster shucking knives when we go down to the beach. Cheers.
Cheers.
Doesn't matter what the weather is, it could be rainy, windy, whatever.
Still not as bad as when we went up to Dos Wallows.
And we sit them on the beach and we go shuck oysters. You have like a fancy lunch, sitting out there on the beach in nature, and just having a ball, having a blast. Sometimes we're playing like reggae music or something with the rain coming down. It's just a totally PNW thing to do. But this time we went to a new beach because our previous beach that we had been going to was closed, and then the new beach we found last year closed this year. And so we're like, okay, let's find another beach. And we're looking through the public beaches and in the area. It's like, oh cool, this one's enhanced with oysters. And we show up and there's oyster shells everywhere, right? There's just all over the beach oyster shells. But none of these shells have oysters in them. And this is like March. This is like early March. Like we're one of the first opportunities to have a low enough tide during the daytime. I don't know, are people out there at midnight like shucking oysters? What's going on here? We're out there, one of the first opportunities, and there's all these empty shells. Where's the oysters, right? And so Tabasco, leave it up, I guess. Yeah.
Thought about it. It's delicious.
This is one of those things that I don't do a lot of. I do a lot. I mean, okay, look, I do a lot of research on a lot of this stuff I do. This is one of those things that I generally just show up. Like I show up with my fork and my knife. And it's like, okay, let's eat lunch. So I don't really know a whole lot about this whole program. So I'm doing a little research and I'm Googling and I'm asking some AI some different stuff, and I'm going to share some of that with you because maybe you're like me and you don't really know what's going on. Why some beaches have oysters, some beaches don't. If you're already searching the public beach link on WFW, like you're in the right place. You need the health status of the beach. Is it open? Is it like actually open for harvest? And is the health status open? Two things. Don't go to a beach that's not open for health status. And if you do, don't blame me because I told you. That's you want to go eat clams and oysters from a beach that it's not healthy. Like that's great. That's insane. Like that sounds like a bad day, bad night, whatever, right? So don't do that. But it says it's open, and then you go look at the harvest profile, and it says enhanced with oysters. You're like, okay, all right. I don't know what that means. They just drive a truck down there and like spray them out like they do stock or trout, just like, here's all your oysters, right? Just go down there and get them, or what are we talking about? So, I don't really know how this works, but when you show up to a beach with hundreds and hundreds of, maybe thousands of oyster shells and no oysters, you're definitely asking some questions. And what I found is that, essentially what's going on is there's like, besides like the native stock that the Olympia oyster stocks they're trying to regrow in different places for consumption, they're trying to enhance different public beaches with Pacific oysters. And they do this thing called like seeding. So they grow the larva, the spat. They grow it in a hatchery, and then they seed the oyster shells with this in hopes that they like attach to the shells and grow and become mature oysters for harvest later on. Well, they don't publish the seeding schedule. So there's some beaches that like people know like every year they got oysters there, and the oysters will reproduce naturally as well if the habitat and the water and everything's particularly good. But there are some beaches where it's not particularly good, and the seeding schedule is not annual. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to a new beach, you might need to do some more research. Maybe you'll find a social media post that'll say something about it, or you might just have to go check it out. But just because it says enhanced with oysters doesn't mean it's gonna have oysters like every time you go. There's a lot of great beaches on Hood Canal that are more reliable. You know, Dos Wallops is pretty far away, and that keeps some of the crowds down. But yeah, it's not a big secret. Like that's a pretty good reliable beach with oysters. It's a couple hour drive, right? So not everyone's going to do it. I have thought about using the boat. You know, there's plenty of like boat access only oyster beaches, even the ones that are enhanced with oysters. So that's a possibility too, right? Like if you got a boat, maybe just go put it on the beach, get out, have an oyster feast, just you and your friends, you know, right there by yourself. But part of the appeal of doing this to me is like the simplicity of it, you know, like I don't have to launch my boat and I don't have to flush the motor later on and blah, blah, blah. Nice. Ooh, get the bugs off of there. Don't need the bugs.
Don't want the bugs. Wow, I think we have discovered that this beach is
I kind of like the idea of just showing up to a beach with a lawn chair and some Coronas and some oyster shucking knives and having a good time. And so I might do more research. Certainly the beach that I ended up at, we got a dozen oysters. You know, I mean, we got it done. We had some friends who were gonna come for the first time, and the plans fell through. And I'm kind of glad it did, because they would have meant fewer oysters for us. We each had, you know, about 6 oysters, and you know, what is that, like $30-$40 these days at restaurants or whatever? Like, stuff is so expensive these days. So, but
yeah, we just had basically a dozen oysters.
it's pretty slim pickings, man. I guess I don't understand how this works. I kind of thought, you know, this is all like issues from previous years, you know. This isn't like, not like, I mean, this is one of the lower tide opportunities anyone's had to do this, you know. I got a little bit. You're just picking up ones that are just laying around. But this is a really fun annual tradition, super easy. You eat your oysters and then you go around, you pick up clams. You know, you don't even have to dig for a lot of these clams that are, you know, some of it's the enhancement, some of it's natural, you know, manila, little neck, you know, butter clams, cockles, all these, you know, different kind of, you know, whatever clams. We made some clam linguine later with it. Fantastic, right? I mean, it's a good time. So just something to consider, you know, as we're sitting here waiting for the ocean to calm down. We're waiting for, you know, earlier we're waiting for the smelt to clear out, waiting for the Columbia River to turn on. Like, you know, there's some waiting sometimes in March, and sometimes conditions aren't right for fishing. So, you know, go pack your supplies and go have a blast on one of these beaches. Find a public beach near you that's open, and you know, open health status as well. March and April is the month to get it done. So maybe I'll see you out there one of these days. And yeah, I'll here's to the rest of the March and all the fun that's lurking a few weeks away.